Welcome, welcome, welcome to the annual State of the Thing. Let's see this. Hang on. Yeah, it's live. Welcome, welcome. Oof. All right. Anyway, so I will get right into this because there is a high chance that a lot of people are going to see this after the fact. So we're not going to sit here and just wait for people to roll in. I will occasionally address the chat, but I will get all the substance out of the way up front so that way people who come and watch this afterwards, we're not wasting time around here. And hello, Tech God. How you doing, man? Okay, so welcome to the second annual, I guess, State of the... I was going to get dressed up. I don't have the time. I just don't have the time to do that. So we're not gonna do that today. But we are gonna go over the health of the channel, reflecting on what happened in 2025, objectives for 2026, and if all that sounds good to you and you are subscribed, then you can continue staying subscribed and check out the content. If this all sounds good to you and you're not subscribed, feel free to subscribe. And if this doesn't sound good to you and you are subscribed, thank you for your time. But anywho, so with that, let's go over 2025. It was a very, very vibrant year for me. I was looking at some stats the other day, and I noticed that the productivity of this channel in particular was so much more active than I remember. I shouldn't be struggling in regards to how my memory with this channel, because the channel's so new, but most of my most viewed videos were from 2025, which I thought it was 2024, and things that I thought were in 2025 were from 2024, and vice versa, 2024, 2025. Anyway, so all that to say that there was a trend that started popping out last year when I was still getting a feel for certain techniques I wanted to present content. And one of the things that I noticed that a lot of people actually care more about than maybe I was anticipating is really the ethos to hone in on Apple a lot more, which I get. I understand. Apple is always the key focus when it comes to YouTube, especially with my background and knowing my past working with Drew and even further back than that. I understand why the focus comes on Apple. However, one thing that I also found very interesting was I guess effectively saw myself. I was getting a lot more emphasis on more of these speculative videos that I would be doing. To give an example, we talked about I instead of just talking about leaks or talking about how something is being reacted to it, one of my more interesting focus points has always been John Turnus. My most viewed video on this channel is introducing John Turnus effectively since 2024. And then I made a follow-up when it looked like it's very imminent that he's going to be retiring. Tim Cook and John Turnus would take over, and that one got a lot of attention. And then me kind of looking into the business operations of Apple always seems to get a lot more attention than maybe, say, I'm talking about iPadOS, just for the sake of iPadOS or something like that. So I've noticed those videos tend to do better. They get a lot more attention. They get higher traction. So lessons on that, we'll talk about how 2026 is going to play out. One of the other videos that, there was also outliers that I did where if I was talking about Mark Rober, who's another YouTuber in the science field in Tesla, that video did well, but that was an outlier from the typical content, but that one got a lot of attention. When we come to trying to put the outliers to the side, Mark Rober comes to mind. Me talking about Elon Musk comes to mind, and the other one has to do with like this is a 2024 video, but I was talking about Marquez Brownlee. That one came to mind. So when it came to the outlier videos doing really well, they were more personality based, like people, not products. Okay, all that to say finally that when when I did my mini documentary, and that one took a lot of time, and channel members were the most involved in that production of it, helping me get that there. That video did way better than I was expecting. I think as of right now, I have the number here. That video I got. Okay, so I released it on New Year's Eve, and that video got 1,700 views. So a lot of attention. There was a lot of comments. There was a lot of engagement. That video, that documentary did well. So that gave me stuff to think about. What does this all mean, reflecting in 2025? I was going to come into 2026 leaning into doing more like maybe mini docs. Maybe taking an approach of that, of people who do like video essays, people who have these analysis done that can have a more evergreen style to it where you can go back to it. But even by those standards in tech, you can't really, because I'm talking about the iPhone 17 Pro and the Air. That's going to be more or less irrelevant in about, I don't know, 8 months. That won't matter as much. So doing evergreen content was my focus point, and doing longer form edited analysis on those videos was my intent. And then I was going to pivot the short form content to become more like topical and just make, shorts and reels and all these things that had to do with like the news of the day, if there was news there, because short form content video gets way more attention. Not because I like it, that's just what YouTube does to push out. So that was the strategy. And then at the very beginning of this year, I went viral. I went mega viral for making a 20-second clip. And that taught me all the planning in the world won't really matter for anything because you can't control what goes where. And then that made me reevaluate what I was actually going to do for this year instead. We will pause on that cliffhanger just so I can catch up on the chat. Martin from Beyond, hello. Mark Gurman just put out a report today that John Turner that further strengthens the possibility of him being the next CEO. I will take a look at Mark Gurman's reports. I mean, Turnus to me is the most obvious pick. He's been the most obvious pick since 2024, and that's why I wanted to lean into. That's why I wanted to make that video when I did, and then it became the most popular video I did because then his name actually started getting brought up, and that tells me that there's validity in this guy being the next CEO. He became lead design. Yeah, listen. Steve Jobs was a marketing guy. He could sell me an auxiliary cable and make me feel like it was the best thing ever. He was a marketing guy. Tim Cook is an operations guy. He is so good at efficiency it's boring. Like it's not a sexy department, but it's what makes a company profitable. And it's not like we didn't see successes outside of the boring, streamlined, moving of components and stuff like that, which ultimately became, rehashed housings of phones or whatever the case is. Like all that stuff is all Tim Cook's bread and butter. But we also saw AirPods, Apple Watch. I mean, everything that we know about Apple today is under Tim Cook. And that's because of people like Johnny Ive or Craig Federighi for software, or John Turnus now taking over design. he he's I saw a video. Let me one more pivot off of this before I get back on the channel. I saw a video from Snazzy Labs. Quinn was talking about how he was the first one to talk about this. I knew of this strategy effectively when it comes to business, but he was talking about how when a senior exec like a CEO is about to retire, there should be a change in leadership at the top, so that way there's no animosity that comes from people who don't get promoted to maybe what they were eyeing for. So when people retire a step down, it's to make way for brand new blood to come in, and this is what Tim Cook's doing with all these guys that were leaving or retiring. Also partly because Meta is trying to throw anything at the wall and see what sticks. I'm not too worried about Meta. They will do their own thing, and Apple is just going to keep focusing on what Apple does best. But the point of Quinn's video that he was talking about was that this is standard protocol for a healthy turnover when it comes to leadership change. And I agree with that. I know that to be true. I studied it in practice when I was in school, going to college for that stuff. So, yeah. Also, side note, I feel like Quinn watches my videos. I just can't prove it. But I have a very strong feeling there's a few high-name profiled people that watch my videos. And I can't prove it, but there's just... I'm just going to say it since we're here. I think Snazzy Labs, I think Apple Explained, and I think 9 to 5 Apple those three for sure. I think those guys watch my videos. I know for sure they know who I am in the Randy Nexus space, not of other spaces. I know that for sure behind the scenes. But I also think that a lot of these other guys that are very leaned into Apple have seen my videos, and anyway, I can't prove that though. But anyway, okay, so let's get back on track here. John Turnus being the natural choice to take over, I think is perfect because we're going from marketing with Steve Jobs to operations with Tim Cook to now hardware. In my opinion, and this is my opinion, and I could be wrong, I've been wrong many times. In my opinion, I think what Apple needs in this next stretch of life is a re-emphasis on hardware. That's what I believe. And that's how I'm going to be covering Apple in 2026. But I'll get back to the channel, the objective for the channel in a moment. But I do believe they need a re-emphasis on hardware. Reason being is software is only as good as the hardware it runs on, right? And the hardware has been ahead of the curve the whole time. Hardware has been ahead of software in Apple's realm. So then why do they need an emphasis on hardware? Shouldn't I be saying software? No. Because software, by design, is the quickest to change it up. Always. Hardware, you don't change up so drastically anymore. Those days are done. You don't go from an iPhone 3GS to an iPhone 4 and have this whole wow or year after year mind-blown advancements. And yet, we're expected to get a foldable this year. And then that's not really exciting. We're excited to see how Apple is going to approach that, because they're going to do something Apple-fied the way we were mind-blown about Dynamic Island. They made hardware a software thing. Because the software is only as good as the hardware that it runs on. I really think that if we lean into the hardware, imagine a hardware guy. The thing that now everything becomes tangible, that we can touch, that we can engage with. Imagine the possibilities of the software we can do once we put the hardware in place as the foundation for wearables, whether it's going to be lighter, cheaper Vision Pros or glasses, to an all-screen 20th anniversary design that is going to have even less bezels. We'll see. Going back to a curved design. Imagine having risk be taken again in hardware. That's what I mean by the re-emphasis on hardware. To take risks. Software, we could take risks year after year, and then we can backtrack, and it's so easy to interchange it. But it's only as good as the hardware that it runs on. Hence, the Apple Silicon. So I thought, if you would have asked me this question even last year, definitely 2 years ago, I thought this, that we needed to focus on software because software is the soul of all things that we do. I would have leaned into that more, but seeing how oversaturated software can become, bugs and all, but just, it doesn't really matter. We're getting to that unification of Android and iOS and anything else, mobile to desktop to portable. All these things are merging in a way that the only thing that's going to differentiate the product line is the hardware, not the software. That's why we're getting unified OS 26, or then later on this year it'll be OS 27, which they might change the name on that too. The only thing I think we're going to feel the difference on has to do with the hardware that supports it. So having a hardware guy as the head chief executive, I think is the right move. That's what I have to say about John Ternus and why I think he should be CEO over someone like Craig or another marketing guy. God, can you imagine Jaws? Jaws as CEO? Oh my God, I would sell all my stock. I don't like that guy. I have no reason not to like that guy. He comes off very, very smug. He comes off very pretentious. Yeah, well, we think the software is really great. Well, it's not great. Jaws, Craig, it's not great. Siri sucks. What Joanna did, no, see, it's not activated. Stop, leave me alone. What Joanna did with the interview was amazing. Okay, let's getting back on to track here really quick. I feel like Quinn watches everyone in some way. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I like Quinn. I like as a something went away. You pop something away. Oh, anyway. Okay, sorry. So 2026. After I went viral, which had nothing to do with tech, I realized that like I can't control. I can plan. I can plan my whole year out if I wanted to, and it can mean nothing because it literally it could change at any given point. My lessons of virality, going viral. My lesson there was I was just doing what I felt like doing, and I need to just stay true to what interests me, and what will be will be. And I don't want to make content that I'm not actually excited about making. At the end of the day, I don't want to make any type of content that's going to waste my time. Ladies and gentlemen, Alpha the Wolf. What's up, brother? How you doing? Jaws has been at Apple for nearly 40 years now. Dude, he looks like he was he's getting up there in age. Somebody with Here's what we need for marketing. Tech God, tell me if you agree. What we need for marketing is somebody who speaks the modern day lingo. Take somebody who's Gen Z. I'm not even going to say a millennial. Millennials are practically boomers. Get a Gen Z guy in there, head of marketing. That's how we can drive, marketing. I don't want some old boomer in there thinking this is how we should run ads or this is what we should say. Stick to these talking points and then filibuster people when they question us about why Siri isn't working or why the software keyboard is trash or whatever the case is. Get somebody who is relatable. Get somebody who can connect with you. Get somebody who understands the name of the game. And with marketing, uh, it could be a fine line between being a meme, which now does well, or um, being crucified for terrible PR. There's a fine line between leaning into it and then getting completely roasted for it. So I think somebody who can do that the best is somebody who was born and raised on the internet, Gen Z. Now I would do that. If I was John Turnus as CEO, I would pick a Gen Z guy. Problem being is that they might not have the experience, and Apple is one of the most profitable and most popular companies in the world, blah, 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 blah. I know the case why we shouldn't do it, but if we're going to take risks, I'm a risk taker. But it's easy for me to say when my name's not on the company. So, yeah, there's that. I am both snowed in and freezing cold. Yeah, man, I am expecting snow tonight, I think, tonight. So, which is why I kind of wanted to do this today, because I don't know what tomorrow's going to look like. And I planned on making this live stream today or tomorrow. We're just going to do it today. All right. What else? Where was I at about the channel? Oh, okay. So because I couldn't control, once I realized that, like, oh, algorithms are going to be algorithms about stuff. This channel was built to be a living, breathing entity that can adapt to the times. And I used to take the long form content and make it a podcast, as well as cut it down to make it a short, and then put it on Instagram and put it on Twitter and put it on YouTube. And I had all this thing so that way it's just the same information went out. And then that was the year of 2024. Then last year I kind of refined it a little bit. This year I think what I'm going to end up doing is lean into the more short form content for things that don't have full video bandwidth. For example, let me give you an example of how I will do a short form content kind of going forward. If Apple announces that there is going to be new watch band colors for spring, I don't even want to cover that because that's boring. What the hell can I add to that? Now, if they said something that like the watch bands that you buy in spring are going to go back to funding Product Red, and so thus there's an innuendo about Product Red coming back, I don't know if I can make content stretched out as a long form video for that. I don't know if that's really all that exciting for me. As of right now, YouTube Shorts let you post things up to 3 minutes, and then that would still be in the short form explore page, algorithm, and all those things. I can talk about a watch band alluding to becoming Product Red products again, and I could do that short form like that. Give me 60 seconds, maybe too much time. Maybe I only need 30 seconds. Maybe I'll use the whole 3 minutes. I don't know. But to me, when I make a long form video, I don't do 3-minute videos. I don't want to do 3-minute videos. I like to really dissect something when I do that. There's a lot of times where Apple will announce something or do something, and maybe not just Apple. It could be Tesla, it could be Samsung, it could be whatever. And it's not worth doing a long form video, and that's why I wouldn't cover it. I think from now on, I will make those shorter. When I made the last video last week talking about the Chase acquisition of Apple Card, prime example, along with YouTube Studio, prime example. When I talk about, I made that into one video because it was a catch-all video. But if I broke those videos up, those could be, and I prefer them to be shorter videos. That's going to be a short form content, vertical, very quick, with a bunch of like jumping B-roll or whatever. That is how I will approach short form content. When it comes to long form content, I was going to lean into doing the more mini doc stuff, which I will inevitably continue to do, but long form content will be always my focus with doing that here on this channel is analysis. It's always about dissecting, understanding why. Why is Apple not going to make a black 17 Pro? And how? How does that affect anything? Ultimately, it didn't really matter. It was marketing. It's all about marketing, right? I see the orange phone so much now on YouTube and out in person, and that is by design. No different than the white AirPods. Why are we not getting black AirPods? Because they want them to stand out. So that is all what I mean, and how I'm going to approach those two categories. Live streams, I don't really know. This is me gauging live stream with interest. The last live stream I did was the State of the Union last year, which was, I think, in May. So I did say then last year that I was going to do the State of the Union, State of the Channel at the beginning of the year going forward. But maybe I'll do live streams when I just want to, hang out and shoot the shit with everybody. Which, with that note, I'm going to take another break and I'm going to check out the chat. Tomorrow feels like the temp here is negative 27. Absolutely not. Mine feels like temperatures tomorrow is negative 32. Guys, I don't think I'm getting that. Hang on, I got widgets. I've customized my desktop on Mac to be mostly widgets so I can understand. I like just having glance of things, and I don't need them to be engaged. Like I can engage with, like, I have reminders and stuff I could do, but my very first widget on my desktop is the weather app, so I can know what's going on next to my calendar, which, like, I use my calendar a lot for organization because I will lose track. Tomorrow, I'm looking at 19 degrees with a low of 4. But what does it feel like? Because you guys are talking about what it feels like. Tomorrow, it feels like, it doesn't even say. Right now, it feels like it's 33, even though it's 42. Now saying snow on Saturday. Okay, whatever. It's Colorado. You can't trust the weather. We have no control. It changes so quickly. All right, well, tomorrow's going to suck, but maybe not as sucky as your guys's. All right. Anywho. What else? What was I talking about? I was talking about how I'm going to use the content. I'm going to say something since I'm here on YouTube, so I don't have to worry about. I've been watching my mouth a little bit more on Instagram recently. I haven't posted anything on Instagram for the Randy Nexus, and the truth of the matter of it is because I forgot my password. I forgot my password. I got logged out, and then when I moved over to the 17 Pro, I did not have the authentication or whatever turned on. So then I just didn't. I didn't go through the process of trying to log back into it. But I am going to try to log back into it and use Instagram a little bit more. I think the Randy Nexus shines the brightest on YouTube, though, which is why I've leaned into it more. The short form content is good for, like, getting spread around for visibility, but it's not good. It's not a good form of revenue. It's not a good form of growth. It's just a good form of reach. And growth and reach are different. So I'm not in a hurry to get logged back into Instagram for the Randy Nexus, but I will do it eventually. It's not my focus point. I very much like using Instagram to make my skits and do all that fun stuff that made it go viral in the first place, which I used to use my personal channel for, and I'm going to be using that for. That's a whole nother thing. My personal channel is coming back this year, but that's a whole separate conversation. I will talk more about it on that channel. I think in the links here in the description, my channel's tagged if you want to go over there, but I'm going to definitely be more engaged. The ethos, the theme for 2026 when it comes to content creation is I'm going to be trying a lot more new stuff and just experimenting with things because I'm having fun, and it was me just experimenting in the first place that made me go viral over on Instagram. So I was like, okay, and I wanted to make that content. I wasn't really thinking about, like, is this going to do numbers? And so I'm going to take that energy and I'm going to bring it to this channel, and I'm going to talk about tech mostly Apple because those do the best numbers, and I do like talking about Apple. But when Tim Cook turns over his authority to John Turnus, I will talk about that, and I'm going to do it in my way. Everything I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be doing it my way, old Frank Sinatra style. I don't like I don't use widgets at all. Too much clutter. I mean, I didn't forever either. My desktop used to be very empty, but not anymore. My Mac is very much my productivity tool, and I like to glance at it. I don't have widgets. My home screen on my iPhone is bare, but my iPad is all widgeted out as well. I like using widgets. I like widgets that are interactive that I can engage with because I use reminders a lot. I use not tools, notes, reminders, weather, calendar. Like those are, if you go all in on the productivity apps that are stock Apple apps, those things are actually pretty phenomenal, especially now that they all kind of communicate with one another. I love using those things. Still on Twitter and YouTube, just hate Meta that much. Oh, well, I understand your disdain. I hate Elon that much, so I'm not on Twitter. Oh yeah, that's right. I do have my account there. I do have the Randy Nexus on Twitter. Wait, do I have the app on my iPad? One second. Let's see. I do. Is it going to sign me out because my personal account's gone? No, put me on Randy Nexus. Hey. All right, Alpha, just for you. Just for you. I'm gonna stay on Twitter for I'm gonna poke around. I haven't seen this it looks exactly the same. Oh, Tech God just saw you. What is Tech God talking about? Craig rejected feature that would use AI to design your iPhone's home screen. Of course. Anyway. Oh, oh. Oh, I see the Mark Gurman breaking news. Gurman breaking: Apple quietly gave hardware chief John Turnus oversight of the company's hardware and software design teams at at the end of last year, marking the first evidence he is being groomed for the eventual Apple CEO role. I agree. All right, Twitter. I'll keep it open. I will look at it passively when I'm on the iPad. I'm not putting the app back on my phone or anything like that. When I get on the iPad, maybe I'll just browse the news. The thing is, like, all these publications get pushed everywhere. The reason why I'm not on Twitter is because I don't need to be on Twitter. They push it to Threads. I guess they do it to Blue Sky. I don't know. They push it. Everything that I need from the tech space when I stay up to date with stuff is on Threads. That's how I curated my algorithm over there. So I love using Threads, and Threads is not as noisy because it has less users. So I still get my news, and it's I don't go on social media like Twitter or Threads, whatever. I don't go on there to try to connect with publications anymore. I'm not trying to talk to 9 to 5. I'm not trying to talk to Apple Insider or Mac Rumors. I'm not trying to like, hey, look at me. I'm a tech guy. I don't care about that shit. I go there strictly to get the news. And most of the time, I've said this for a while with you, Tech God. I actually enjoy seeing your posts because it keeps me updated. And Alpha the Wolf just tweeted, "How much snow do you think my area gained this week?" I see you. All right. Maybe when I update to Tahoe, I'll try widgets. I mean, I don't think you're going to see that much of a difference, to be honest with you, Tahoe or not. I was expecting a very in-depth answer, not expecting the answer to be, I forgot my password. That's the true answer. I can give you a fake answer about why I'm not on Instagram. I just forgot the password, and I haven't reset it yet. I would have forgotten the password on YouTube if it didn't keep me logged in. and it's one of those things where it didn't save to my passwords app, so I literally don't know what the password is, which means I probably can't get into my Gmail. And I should probably do that if I gotta pay taxes. Ugh, we'll see. I'm gonna figure it out. I'll figure it out. All that to say that I will get my platforms, starting with, I guess, Twitter, up and going again, just to give it a fresh new face. The Twitter looks exactly the same without looking, because check this out. Now I'm gonna put it up on the screen. On the iPad, at least, like, they still have the tweet. That's a leaf. That's a tweet. Or maybe it's supposed to be like a feather so you can write, but there's still DNA of Twitter on here. And so it looks exactly the same, but also, like, I don't remember navigating Twitter. I don't like Twitter. But that's because I don't like Elon. Yeah. Twitter has definitely fallen from grace, but Meta to me is hellborn. I mean, it's fair. I mean, it's okay. Pick your poison. I don't subscribe to the lesser of two evils approach. They are all terrible to some degree, but we also kind of like need it. I like YouTube personally because I could do this right here, right now, and talk to people. I can put my thoughts out there. Google has not suppressed me. Meta has put me in timeout on Facebook and on Instagram years ago. Twitter is just full of bots, and I was tired of getting, like, OnlyFan replies and stuff like that. Like, I hate that, and I don't like Elon. It's that simple. I like Tesla. I love Tesla. That's a great car. My favorite car I've ever owned in my life. But, that's where it's like you got to pick your poison, I guess. I like Instagram because, quite frankly, it made me, I went viral. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, now I have a bias there. So there's that. And all my friends, like in my family and friends, they use Instagram. So I use Instagram. Isn't that how social media works? You go where the people you know are at. And that's how I feel. Twitter for me is sort of a necessary evil for my workflow. I get it. I get it. What I won't do, I'll joke, but what I won't do is like shame people for any of it. It's none of that. It's none of it that serious, We can like it and not like it for different reasons and stuff like that. I saw a video that Drew put out saying that they autoplay YouTube videos on Twitter now. So if you stay on Twitter and you watch it, then I guess it doesn't count towards ad revenue sharing, maybe. So that sucks in its own way. But people who write publications, journalists and stuff like that, probably don't really care about that, and they love Twitter. Maybe they love Twitter for that and other reasons. Every social media platform hates YouTube. Almost never promotes my content. I'm still just as much of a nobody on Twitter. I wish I can say, I wish I had advice to say why something will pop off or not pop off. I don't know. I don't know why things do well or not well. My advice is very generic. Be authentic. Be yourself. Don't copy people. Don't emulate. It's okay to emulate like techniques from other people, right? Like if I think about Drew's technique, I love the way he edits his videos in the sense that like it's very streamlined, it's very efficient and stuff like that. His editing is high turnaround because he hates editing and I hate editing. So I know his editing style and I'm like, oh, that kind of works. But my videos are very static shot. I don't like punch in a lot and do that whole thing, and that's just, I don't know. I'm just doing it my own way, I guess. Like, so I'm not trying to look like MKBHD with like animations and sounds and pacing of a video. I'm not trying to look like Front Page Tech ever. I'm not trying to look like Tailosive Tech. I'm trying to look like the Randy Nexus. So my advice is just, and that's visual content or if you're just doing publications on Twitter, just be unique, be you, because if you're just copying somebody, why would anybody go to you? They shouldn't go to you. If you're mimicking Marquez, they just go to Marquez. They would just go to him. Don't copy. Be yourself. That's really my. I wish I had better advice. Like, hey, here's how you can go viral. I don't know. I want to know, but nobody ever knows. I don't know why the algorithm picks up things and then suppresses other things. I wish I knew that stuff, because then it would make everyone's job easier. But then everybody would be on the same playing field, I guess. I don't know. And and finding a way to bring that back to now the channel and how I'm approaching 2026. I'm not chasing the algorithm, because it keeps changing. It's gonna always keep changing. So I'm gonna make videos that I actually care about making on here. I will do other maybe video essay styles that are going to be like the mini doc that I did. Whenever I have a new idea, I take them to my channel members, and I will talk about it. And when they greenlight the project, that's when I will do it. And I like that, because it's a passion project for the channel members, and it's for them first. So I will keep doing, like, experimenting on techniques, but I'm not going to make content for the sake of making content. I'm not just going to, unless it's like really breaking news or something. And that might be, like, if I'm streaming this right now, and let me refresh Twitter, because, maybe it breaks there first. No, all right. If there's breaking news and they're like, oh, hey, Tim Cook just passed away, I'm like, holy shit. And I jump on it immediately. Or, those are exceptions, not rules. I'm not going to make videos just so I can meet some arbitrary bullshit quota of, like, you need to be posting at least every other day. Fuck that. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that, because that builds burnout. That drives resentment. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make content when I feel like making something. And when I'm not posting it here, if I'm making something else, good chance I am on Instagram or something. We'll see. But even then, like over there, Instagram, Alpha, to talk about hating Meta, let me tell you why I hate Meta right now. Instagram has been harassing me. Oh, keep posting more while you still have the momentum. Fuck you. I'm not a monkey. I'm not going to dance when you tell me to dance. No. When I have an idea, that's when I do it. Whether it's on this channel for tech, or if I want to make something funny, I will make the content that I want to see, that I feel like making when I have that, because I'm a human being. I don't just have free time up the ass to just do whatever I want to do whenever and just meet some arbitrary number that can change next week. I saw a post that said on Instagram, for you to stay relevant on Reels, you need to be posting at least 12 Reels a month. Fuck that. I'm not going to do that. If I have 12 ideas that month, then I'll do it then. But there's like, you have to be consistent. So 12 reels a month to make you a high turnover, and then stay consistent with that. So I just go on there and be like, this is my first reel. See you next week. This is my second reel. Like, I'm not doing that. I hate Meta for the same reasons I don't like any of this. Like, I will work with the algorithm, but I'm not going to work for the algorithm, because all of this is fun to me. I'm having fun. I'm not going to make it my whole identity. Being on the tech side of things with the Randy Nexus is not my identity. It's my observational experiences, whether I'm talking about the stock market, Tesla, Apple, leadership personnel, products, whatever. Like, those are my interests, not my identity. No different than what I would do on Instagram. I'm just not going to do that. So that's why I don't like Meta right now. Okay, well, that was exhilarating. The sun is starting to set, which is why you're seeing the Apple logo on my MacBook hit my chest here. Look at that. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, Twitter for me is sort of, I already read that. I already read that. I think because I'm too realistic, not changing my goofiness, however, that's here to stay. You're too realistic and you're not changing just stay yourself, man. Stay yourself in the whole scheme of things. It doesn't like the hustle culture. Maybe I'll make a video on this one day, but I don't think it's appropriate on this channel. So maybe it'd have to be on, I don't know yet. I'm thinking this out loud, but the hustle culture is so toxic. I don't believe in it. I stopped believing in it a long time ago because it's I've been on both extremes of that, and it's stupid. For people to validate their worth based off of numbers or something that can change at any point, I just don't agree with the hustle culture personally. What do you think needs to happen before Vision Pro becomes mainstream, and what would be your estimate until it does become mainstream? My estimate for what? Okay, what do I think needs to happen for it to become mainstream, and what would be my estimate until it does? Oh, you're asking like my time, like when do I think it would become mainstream? I have a general idea with estimates of like the timeline. What needs to happen is it needs to become cheaper. One, two, third party applications need to be more accessible. YouTube is purposely not, or Google is purposely not putting YouTube on Vision Pro to spite them. And it's a low selling it's a low selling product, so it doesn't really hurt anything. The iPhone has been and will continue to always be bread and butter. iPhone. So what needs to happen is we need to make it cheaper, and it needs to be as intuitive as possible to use. If you've tried the Vision Pro, you know there are some things that are good about it. You know there are some things that are bad about it. But when it comes to the UI, to actually engage with that product. So it needs to become cheaper, and it needs to be intuitive. The timeline for that, in my opinion, would happen in the next now 4 years. Like if we're talking mainstream, by 2030, I believe we would have the tech should have caught up by then to be able to make things cheaper to produce and easier to use or wear. And I believe that Vision Pro in its current form will evolve. The Gen 2 Vision Pro was such a letdown for me, unfortunately. I bought that thing with the intent to keep it. Every time I buy a product to review, I do buy it with the intent to keep it, because maybe I'm sold. I did that with AirPods. I've done that last year. I did that with my iPhone 16 over the 16 Pro. I bought both, and I was like, oh, which one do I like more? And I liked the 16, base 16 more. So I bought the Vision Pro M5 with the intent of keeping, and there's nothing new since 2024. Since 2024, it's been now 2 years, almost to the date, 2 years. It's kind of quiet. It's sitting quiet. So glasses, if they make the glasses and they put Vision OS on those glasses, great. If that means it's not a standalone product and it has to be another companion piece, the way the Apple Watch is to the iPhone, fine. Because nobody's going to give up their iPhone, right? Nobody's giving up the smartphone. I don't think any product's going to be an iPhone killer. I think things are just going to naturally evolve. And I think for the Vision Pro, which ultimately I'm talking about Vision OS, needs to move to a cheaper, more intuitive product, like glasses or something that's a pass-through. That's what I think. That timeline, I say 2030. I have 2030 for a lot of things in my headspace, because we'll hit 20 years of iPhone by then. Everything should be well into the new era of Apple with leadership, with product lines, and tech should have caught up by then. I think 2030 is a sweet spot. So let's even say 2029. Like by 2030, Apple should be on all cylinders with a new product line altogether. That's my prediction. Meaning before then, so 2029. Okay. Hope that answers your question. The approach I make to deciding whether or not to make a video, I ask the question, do I have anything to say? Yeah. It's a balance, Alpha. It's a balance. Like, just start. Like, it doesn't have to be the greatest thing ever, right? That's what everybody says, and it's true. It doesn't have to be the greatest thing ever. Just make it, but make it yours. Make it unique. Make it authentic. That's the only thing that anybody can do. Anyways, got to go prep for a podcast. See ya. Take care, Alpha. I'll see you, man. The M2 models have Jesus have depreciated in price to like 1,000 to 1,500. Honestly, that's a pretty decent deal. I would buy an M2 Vision Pro for $1,000. I think it's worth, but like it's so. My issue with the Vision Pro is that like you have to go out of your way. You have to go out of your way to like put it on. The phone, you just whip it out, there, done. iPad, you just there, done. The Mac, you kind of go out of your way, but Mac is more productivity. Vision Pro or Vision OS has to answer the question of like what's its function? Like Mac is the ultimate productivity tool. Mouse and keyboard, pro applications, your full untethered access to the internet, not behind an app ecosystem paywall where only one company is gatekeeping. It is open to the whole internet. Mac is the ultimate device for productivity based off of your needs of productivity. The iPad is the ultimate versatile consumption device. So if you want to watch YouTube, listen to podcasts or music, whether it's on the speakers or you have your headphones, whether you want to draw or you need to write something. Like one of the things that I do, I need to have access to for wet signatures every week. I sign off on things, and this saves me the whole signing something, scanning it, upload it. Like I could just sign directly. So the versatility on an iPad is phenomenal. The hardware is great. The software is just, I'm always going to want effectively unlimited internet access like a Mac on every product. If I can get Mac OS on an iPhone, I would take it. So consumption device, I think the iPad is the ultimate consumption device for versatility, but it's very great in productivity as well in the modern era. It's just not the ultimate productivity device. The ultimate productivity is Mac. You can build apps, code, unlimited access to the internet. You do whatever you want on a Mac. That's the ultimate. The next best thing is an iPad. The phone is the most optimized product out there that anybody has. A smartphone, all apps, everything goes through your phone. I bet people are watching this stream right now on their phone. The phone is the most convenient. It's the ultimate convenient, and it's technically. And if we're going, specking out, I got iPhone 17 Pro, I got a MacBook Pro, and I got a Mac and an iPad Pro. The iPhone is the cheapest one. So there's that. The watch is the ultimate health. It became health, and I love that it's health because it sleep tracks, health, heart rates, and all these things. I use my watch for all things activity when I go hiking, with elevation and things like that. The watch I love, and I've always been a watch wearer, so I just love that I can get the biggest, bulkiest thing. This is more in line with the types of watches I used to wear, 2015, 2014 and stuff like that. So, and what else am I missing? The Apple TV is not an ultimate anything. It's just a smart TV. Apple TV can use, the hardware can use some TLC there. The Vision Pro, I can't tell you what it's meant for. It's just a toy, a proof of concept of what tech can do. And I like that. I don't mind taking risk. I want more risk under John Turnus. Take risk with hardware, but you gotta kind of don't be a solution looking for a problem. Actually fix problems. And in tech, consumer tech, I don't think we have many problems, to be honest with you. Not on the platform level. It's more like on apps that you experience those issues and the problems. The exception being that I think iOS has been buggy for the past couple of years. keyboard being the best example. Like the keyboard's just trash, but I hear rumors that iOS 27 is just going to be an under the hood update, and thank God for that. We need another iOS 12. I loved iOS 12. We need another one of those. If we can get another iOS 12 for iOS 27, that's I'm okay. But we got to be able to sell it, so they still got to put new features. Here's my wish list for iOS 27. Since I'm on that subject, I want to see. You know how you get the photographic styles for photos? Bring that to video. Be able to customize your look on video with photographic styles. So video graphic styles. I don't know what you would call it, but bring that, and I would call iOS 27 a success. That and all the under the hood bug fixes. Fix the keyboard. Fix the keyboard. The typing, the amount of typos I make now is atrocious. I look like I have so many typos now when I type. You would have thought it looks like I read with my finger because it looks so ridiculous. iOS 12 was peak. It really was. I liked it. What did we see in iOS 12 that was unique? I remember dark mode coming that year, but it wasn't on the phone. It was for Mac. So I don't actually remember iOS 12. I just remember it running so smoothly. And that was for the iPhone XS and XR. And that was great. That was a great year for software. All right. Do we have any closing thoughts, ladies and gentlemen? Anything left to address? Any questions, comments, concerns? Because I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to wrap it up here. So as you do that, since I've already got Twitter open, you can now group tabs in OpenAI's ChatGPT Atlas browser. I have that browser. I downloaded Atlas. Haven't used it once. I was like, I'm going to try it. I didn't. I don't know. I try not to mess up good things. So to recap in summary here, the videos, my intention with videos for 2026 is to emphasize on quality of content, not quality as in like production value, which will pretty much be the same. I've been filming everything in on the Sony on 4K even now, just because. I don't know why. I felt like it. Wanted to mix it up. So quality a little bit in the production element, but I mean quality in the substance. I'm not gonna make a video just to make a video. And I felt like I was doing that a lot last year just so I can hit some arbitrary number of videos every week or every month. I don't want to do that. It doesn't excite me. So that's my intent here. I'm not a huge user of Atlas. I just like Safari too much. Yeah, me too. This is being filmed through Safari. I have to use Chrome for some things, but I avoid Chrome like the plague. But that's just me. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so content. You'll see videos that are going to be more thought out. Is the best way I can say it. They're going to be thought out videos, and if there's quick news to cover, instead of making dedicated videos like I used to, I'm just going to make them YouTube shorts, and maybe I'll even try to put that on Instagram as well. We'll see. The home for everything Randy Nexus is pretty much going to be living on YouTube still, and once I remember the password and I quit being lazy about it and I log back into Instagram, anything that's a short on YouTube will be a reel on Instagram. And yeah, that's it. We'll see what this year's mini doc theme will be. I like doing those longer form videos as a documentary of sorts when it's something worth doing the deepest of dives. But I'm not going to do it just for the sake of doing it. So whenever I have a new theme or idea to approach, that's when I will do that. Okay. This was a good hour. It was nice catching up with all you guys. And yeah, I will see you guys very, very soon. Especially if I get snowed in. You know, it looks like snow's on the horizon for everybody. So yeah, if I get snowed in, I'm gonna be stir crazy. So I'll probably be back here at my desk making content, most likely. All right, guys, take care. I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.